My name is Ajepe. I am an experienced executive assistant. I currently work as an EA to the founder of one of the leading retail companies in Nigeria. So that's me, yeah, professionally. On the fun side, I feel like I'm a homebody. I like to be in my space. Of course, I banter, chill, and I'm happy, of course, when I'm around people that know me, my friends, family, and people close to me. But generally, I am.
So you're not all work.
No, obviously not. I'm not all work.
Yeah.
But I'm also not all out there like that.
Okay. So
but
there's a little bit of balance in there. Work sometimes and then play sometimes.
Yeah, like when you feel stressed sometimes and you just want to relax, you take some time to cool off, come back, recoup, chill.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So how many years experience, how many years work experience as an EA do you have? 5 years experience. Okay, so let's now segue into how you got into becoming an executive assistant. How did that start and why?
Okay, I'll start with how it started. So my first job after NYSC was my role was marketing communications officer. But while I was doing that, I also found myself doing like a bit of some admin assignments and tasks then for my office. And while I was also doing that, I was working directly with and reporting to the executive director at the time, not as her assistant or anything, but still in my role as marketing comms. And she had like some personal projects she would run from time to time, and she would say, "Oh, support me on this, let's do this," things like that. And I think like that was basically like the start of it. But of course, I was still marketing communications. But fast forward to my next job as a front desk officer, that was in 2019. I took on the role just to move, like career progression, And I also knew that as a front desk officer, there is not so much growth and progression. By the time I really just wanted to move, of course, so I moved. When I started off, it was fun, it was fine, but I also knew that I can't do this for the rest of my life. And luckily for me, at the time, the company I joined, there was like a project that was ongoing and I was required to support. And they're just like, "Oh, please support on this project and let's see like the outcome." Luckily for me as well, it became a success. But I think the part I would like to speak to is being able to add value, like wherever you find yourself. So I didn't see it as a front desk officer role. While it was that, I saw it as something bigger. And even if I'm a front desk officer, I'm going to do it better than any other person. I am going to excel at it. I'm going to add some touch and spice to it. So I did that from January to about April or March of that year. And after 3 months, there was like vacancy for an assistant role, personal assistant, not an EA, personal assistant. And I was shortlisted. There was an interview, of course, which I scaled through. And so like that was like the start of my journey as an assistant. Now there's a difference between a PA and an EA. So typically as a PA, let me tell you, as a PA, you are doing a bit more personal work, a bit more admin and routine tasks. But as an EA, you are more invested in the business. You are, your boss is bouncing ideas off you. She's asking you, what do you think? What is your opinion on this? We're looking to diversify. You're making research on new things, new projects that he or she is interested in or that will be beneficial to the company. So there's more of the strategic part to an EA than a PA. And so I transitioned obviously from being a PA to an EA. I'll just touch a bit on that. So while I was still on my PA role, someone close to me reached out and said she was looking for an executive assistant for somebody. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a PO. I don't know if I'll be able to do it." So of course I told her that I knew someone who was an EA. And she's like, "No, I don't think you should be referring somebody else. I think you are ready for this. I think you can do it." And yeah, that was my start into like being an EA.
Definitely a lot to share. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think I just love the point of, first of all, you didn't see the front desk role as just a job or just a role. It was more, I want to add value in this role and I want to be the best at it. So you've done marketing comms, you've done PA, you've done EA. which one was most exciting, or is most exciting?
I would say, I would say, with marketing, it's more, it's more out there. It's a more like outgoing role. You're meeting people. There's like a bit more exposure. Our role as EAs, a lot of times, is more behind the scenes. Do you understand? You're working on things, but not everybody knows what you're working on. Probably your executive or whoever you're supporting. But marketing, it's more out there. You're going for events, you're traveling, you get. So, it comes with its own perks as well, and it might probably be more exciting if you are like more of an outgoing person.
Thank you. First question is, how many executives have you worked with, and what has been the most exciting as well as the most challenging part of being an EA?
Okay. So my first, when I was personal assistant, don't scream, but I supported 5 executives at a particular time. So at the time, there were about 15 partners in the firm, and we were 3 personal assistants, and we were assigned to 5 partners each, and that was really, really challenging. So what that basically meant was I had to be on my A game most of the time. It also meant that even if you were assigned to 5 partners or 5 executives, another executive can wake up one day and say, "Oh, Dami, I need your help with this." And you're not going to say, "No, I'm just assigned to these 5 people and I can't support you." So it was a bit challenging, I must say. But I think it also just like equipped me and stretched me exactly and made me realize that, okay, I can do this. There were bad days. There were days that I felt like, okay, I don't think I can do this. I might give up. But I've evolved. I've grown. So over the course of my career as an assistant, I would say I've worked with almost 10 executives now, or like 8, roughly 8.
So roughly 8. But
roughly 8 to 10.
Wow, 5 at a time.
Yes, so 5 at a time, for sure.
Let's deep into that. Let's dive into that a bit. How were you able to manage their schedules and manage supporting them?
So I think like the very first step for me was basically understanding each personality. So while they are all executives, they are different, they are people, they are human beings, and they all have like how they would like you to address them, the approach to maybe delivering on a particular task for them. So I had to first of all understand that. So that was like basically like a first step. Secondly was just realizing and telling myself I have to be organized, work with the right tools, obviously. And of course, from time to time, you get support, you delegate. While it is your duty to be the assistant, you also have the opportunity or room to delegate some things so that it's not too burdensome. I think that's like something that assistants need to realize, that while you are supporting this person, you can delegate, you can ask for help, you can ask people to help you do stuff. But I think, like, yes, I said, first step was understanding each personality and trying to stay super organized. I think like it's very, very important, and just realizing that you can't, as much as you may want to jumble 101 things, you also need to pace yourself. I think you also need to be able to speak up when you feel overwhelmed and say that, oh, I don't think I can take on this particular task at this point. I'm stretched.
Your limit.
I've reached my limit. Yeah. But if you're in a situation where you're working with multiple people, you have to first of all understand each personality. Some people want you to communicate via WhatsApp. Some people prefer emails. Some people prefer that they see you face to face. So you have to understand each executive, what is critical to them, and how best to support them based on like their needs, what's important. And I think lastly, I'll just say, in terms of all of this, being able to prioritize and know like what's very important per time, per executive, ask questions. You may be given 15 things to do at a particular time, but ask and say, okay, I missed all of this. What is most important to you at this time? Over time, as you work with the executive, you will also be able to make those decisions on your own and say, oh, I think like in this with all these things we need to do, I think we should place our focus more on number 2 as opposed to number 1. And they appreciate those things because you're thinking ahead, you're solving a problem for them, you're keeping them organized. Yeah. So I think also being able to prioritize per time, per executive, that's if you're working for multiple people.
You just mentioned about 4 skills that I heard. One is being organized. Number 1, it's non-negotiable. Number 2 is understanding the personality of your executive, right? Number 3 is taking initiative, because there are times where you need to help them think because they're probably burnt out or whatnot. Number 4 is learning how to prioritize. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Okay, so welcome everyone. So again, this is 15 Minutes with Wave. My name is Kelvin. I have Damilola with me, or with us here. She's sharing her experience as an EA, because we have a course that's coming, and we want people to know what to expect, so that you don't think that it's a good ride to become an EA. There are challenges as well as the perks, of course. So she has just explained the challenging part of being an EA. So Damilola, what are the exciting parts of being an EA? Well, why should I be an EA?
You should be an EA, first of all, if you are, I see that people who take on this role are, one, problem solvers. If you know that you have that skill, if you know that you like to help and assist, if you see yourself as an enabler in the sense of, okay, I like to enable people, or I would love to enable somebody be able to do something. I would like to enable them be able to focus on like the bigger picture while I take care of nitty-gritty things. Also, why you should, like one of the fun and exciting parts of being an EA is just really being able to work closely with them. I don't think like you can trade that for anything. So on my journey, like I said, it's been challenging, but that's like one of the very interesting parts, is being close to them. You literally have their ears, you have their attention, you're speaking to them every day.
I said you feel special.
What did you say? You feel special, exactly. You feel special. And I think aside from that, you are growing, you're becoming a better version of yourself, because you're telling yourself like, if this person can do this, I can do this and even more and better. Do you understand? You're learning from their mistakes. You're seeing them make mistakes, and in the next 10 years, when you're probably in that position as a business leader or executive, you probably not make those same mistakes again. So I think it's like one of the most critical and interesting parts of being an EA. Something else I'll also speak to is the area around working on multiple projects or different things. So as executives, their focus might be on a particular thing per time, but they're also looking to diversify from time to time. So your boss might be interested in cars today, tomorrow he's interested in planes, next tomorrow he's interested in a boat. And it's your job and duty to research on those things and also be interested in those things. And while you're doing that, you're learning, you're expanding your horizon. Do you understand? You're picking on new skills, you're meeting people. And sometimes it feels like, oh, how am I going to be able to juggle this? How am I going to be able to do this? But you just find yourself actually doing those things. And I think I'll just also speak around the area of no 2 days are necessarily the same as an EA. So today you might be working on, it's not a check the box kind of role, like very routine. I come to work, this is what I'm doing. You might get to work and have your to-do list for the day plan, and your boss is like, oh, we're going to go for a meeting in Lekki, pick your bag and you're on the move. So tomorrow can be you sitting in the office and actually doing like actual work. Next tomorrow you might be traveling, you might be attending a meeting. Another day you're on the field like doing research and stuff. So I think like it pushes you, and when you eventually find yourself in like leadership positions, you're able to make decisions. You are vast. I think that's like very, very important. You have like knowledge on basic things from different areas. So while it's challenging, it's also very exciting.
That's a lot you said. Lucy is on a roll with us this evening. She's been dropping a lot of comments. So she said it's an amazing experience. You get to work and meet executive, great people that can help you navigate life and success. She says the access is long lasting. I think that's something I need to mention. The network that you're going to have access to also makes it exciting. Fact. What are the specific roles you think that someone who is an EA can move into?
Okay, very honestly, I'll say that like it's limitless. I don't see like it's limitless in the sense that there's almost nothing you can't do. In the sense that I've seen EAs who have become HR professionals. I've seen EAs who have become administrative professionals. I've seen EAs who within the same organization have changed roles. So for just because you're working with the executive, they see your value, and sometimes they're like, oh, I think you can add more value by moving to this role. I've seen EAs who become COOs of companies, and I think more often than not, I've seen EAs who actually go out and start their own things, their own businesses. So they learn under a particular executive or leader for 10 years, 15 years. They learn the nitty-gritty of the business. Like I said before, they see their mistakes and how they can improve. And then they're just like more business-oriented. And so I've seen EAs who actually go and start up their own businesses and run their own things. And a lot of times, if you work with a particular executive for a long time, you almost become like their protege. They become like your mentor. And so you see yourself like them. And sometimes you want to start off like maybe the same. You want to be in the same business line with them. But also other times, it might be a different initiative or different idea you have. But just because you have understudied, you have worked in the capacity of an EA for a long time, you'll be almost easy to start off your own thing. So I would really
just say that as an EA, you've gotten free mentorship from your executive.
Yes, now it's real actually, because it is very fluid in the sense of you don't even know that it's happening, but that's actually what's happening every day, because your boss is calling to your office to say, oh, what do you think about this? We want to start a new line or want to launch a new project, and you're spitting ideas, you're giving them like your take or your opinion on things, and you don't even know that those things are in a little way rubbing off on you. So it's very how do I put it? You don't basically know.
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk about so in terms of the biggest, maybe not the biggest, but what is one thing that you've done as an EA that made you feel like a superhero? When you rolled your eyes and went, I did that. That was me.
So I'll share two experiences. First will be, so we launched, at the time we wanted to diversify and launch a new product line, which was new to everybody. Like even my boss, it was something that she hadn't necessarily done before. And just because of my capacity as an EA, I found myself, I didn't even know I was going to like literally spearhead that project, but I found myself like attending meetings with her, sitting in on calls, and before I knew, she said, oh, this particular project is your baby and you have to own it. And I know that like there were days I cried, there were challenging days. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I think I'm going to give up. And I just remember her sending me a message one day on my way to work and saying that she was just being like basically appreciative and saying thank you, that she knows that she has been pushing and she has been reaching in the past few weeks, but she just loved to see how amidst all of that, I've been able to rise above that and basically like own the project and deliver. And we eventually launched it. I know it's before I left, it was running for at least 3 months before I left, and it's still running up till now. So I mean, that was a success. Second one would be planning an event around this time last year. It was something I hadn't necessarily done on that scale. So, I mean, planning events sometimes can be on like really small scales, but this was like on a larger scale, and I had to work with multiple vendors from literally inception to execution. And I remember my boss saying on that particular day that you need to add event planning to your CV or like your list of skills. Exactly. So I mean, those are the things that make you feel happy amidst the challenges. There are days that you literally feel sad and give up, or want to give up rather, but those are the things that make you feel like superhero Dami, superhero Sade, superhero Frank. Do you understand? So those things make you feel good. And then I always tell people, like, it's very important to document those things. You can save them, you can open a notepad and write those things down. just for days that you feel like you're second guessing, am I supposed to be doing this, or am I this person? Am I actually not smart, or I don't know what to do? Yeah, so like you go back to those things and feel gassed up, feel happy. They'll spoil you up again.
Okay, 2 projects. So first one is a project that you spearheaded, and second one was an event that you planned to execution. So now, have you added that skill to your list of skills, event planning? Well, I hope you have. Awesome.
Yes, it's there, right there.
So final advice to prospective executive assistants.
First, I'll start by saying that you need to determine and know for sure that this is what you want to do. I feel like that's what would drive you on the days you feel like giving up. You have to know that, okay, these are the pros and cons of being an executive assistant. You've probably researched it or even spoken to somebody who is on the role, who has done it for some time, so that you know that this is where you want to be, and you're not just doing it because, oh, it's my first job, or I'm just doing it to pass time. So like, if you know for sure this is what you want to do, on bad days you would not, you might feel like you want to give up, but you know, you understand the why, and you know that I would rather not do anything else. Do you understand? This is where I'm meant to be. Secondly, I would say you have to equip yourself. You have to keep learning, and you have to keep growing. Take courses, ask for help, and like this will probably lead me like to what Wave Academies is doing, in the sense of they are 1-week course, which I think any aspiring executive assistant, if you're aspiring to be one, or even if you're already an executive assistant, I think it will be very nice for you to take on the course. It's just 10,000 naira, and it's a virtual course. You learn like the fundamentals of being an EA, end to end, the skills. I mean, I've spoken on some of the skills, but like it's a course, and so they'll break it down. It will be more, how do I put it? It will be more impactful, and so I think like it's a great opportunity for you to key into. I hear registration closes on the 13th, am I right, of February, on Monday. So it's just 10,000. Please sign up. You have Kelvin here. I think you can check their Instagram page, or you can go on their website, www.waveacademies.org.
Damilola, you have sold the course for us. You have talked about the course. I have nothing left to talk about. You should come back to marketing. They need you. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you very, very much. Let me just give a shout out to Duns. I hope I got that correctly. I hope it's Dunsin, right? Thank you for your comment. Damilola, I'm going to ask you a fun question. So you're on an island. What are 3 things that will be found on you if you were stuck on an island? Okay.
My earphones. Okay. My earphones.
What would you be listening to?
Stuck on an island. Oh wow. Okay.
What's my comment?
Let me see.
Okay.
I will have water. Probably I will have water. I don't know.
Okay, a
bottle of water.
2 more.
2 more. You put me on the spot. I didn't even think about it. A bottle of water.
No music. Okay.
Food. If I see food, I don't know.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, someone just said food. Okay. So if I see food, maybe I won't have internet on. I won't have internet on.
No, because
there's no way.
What is the exception? You have an internet. Yes.
Oh, okay. Why not? So first of all, I'll have my phone. I'll have my phone. Yes, I'll have my phone. I'll have my earphones. And I'll have water.
Earphones and water.
Yes, and then I'll have water.
Got it. Thank you so much, Damilola. Thank you for joining us and sharing as much value as you possibly could have. We appreciate your time. We hope that when next, because you have a lot to share, and hope that when next we call on you, you would oblige us with your time.
Yeah, no problem. I'm always on standby.